Alright, so a lot of people have been asking me how to get out of bounds in Hitman, because I've been posting a lot of out of bounds type of things. So the most common question is, how do you get out of bounds? So today I'm going to show you a relatively easy way to do it. It doesn't involve any glitches or anything. To the left of my game you can see that I have Cheat Engine open, so you will need Cheat Engine for this. Another handy thing to have is an NVIDIA card, so you can use NVIDIA Ansel. If you don't have Ansel or an NVIDIA card, that's okay. I'll show you why it's useful a little bit later on, but it's definitely not required. So, Cheat Engine is a program that uses memory editing. You're able to edit values and memory regions within games. It's mostly used for easy things like getting infinite health or infinite lives or infinite ammo, but you can use it for pretty much editing anything in a game, if you know where to look. So in this instance, I'm going to use this in Miami because it is a popular level. It's pretty easy to do it in this level, especially in this area, which I'll show you why. And yeah, so the first thing we want to do is, I found this is the easiest area. Again, this works in any map, any level. For this purpose, I'm going to use this area just because after scoping around, this is a pretty easy spot to use. So the first thing you want to do is go over to Cheat Engine over here after you have it. And you're going to select Hitman to process. And then what we're going to do is we're going to be searching for basically our height in the game. Z-axis, Y-axis, whatever is in this game, we're going to be searching for that. So for this, we don't know what it is right now, so we're going to select a value type of all, and then the value that we are looking for, we don't know. So we're going to hit our first scan for this. And what that's going to do is it's going to scan all the values essentially in the game. So right now there are 4,910,276,608 values that we have located. So what we want to do after that is, so at this position, that's where we found all those values at that very moment in time. So if we move down to this section here, that value of where we were has now decreased. So our height, our elevation value has decreased. So we're going to do another scan. So these scans will take some time when you're beginning, just because it has to sort through all of those numbers, basically saying, hey, we're looking for ones that are less than the ones before. So if this takes a while, depending on your machine and all that, don't be alarmed, you just have to give it some time. It does take up a lot of memory on your computer, even hard drive space to calculate all this, so be sure you have some space available for that. But so now we have 28 million, so much less than the billions that we were in. So now we're going to move down again, and we're going to do the same thing. We have decreased our value in height, so we're going to scan again. Now we're down to 6 million. So now you want to just keep repeating this process. You can kind of mix it up. So I went up now, you can increase the value. Now we're at almost a little under 4 million. And then you can, since we haven't moved here, we can even do unchanged value. And sometimes that'll sort out a lot, just because we haven't moved, but a lot of things in the game have. A lot of values have moved. So now we're down to under 500,000. So now let's go back up here. And as you do this, if you do this a lot, you'll know what number you're looking for. So for instance, eventually we're going to be looking for the number -4. That is the position that I know about over there under the underpass. So now we go down a bit, do decreased value, decrease there. Okay, let's go ahead over here since we're getting kind of low at the 28,000 range. So let's go all the way to the bottom here, and around here should be -4. So decreased again, we'll just kind of sit here, and we'll say unchanged value. You can actually see -4 pop up here already. So once we kind of wean these out down to the lower thousands, then we can kind of cheat the cheat engine a bit, and kind of get what we're looking for a little bit more clearly. So now we're -4 again. So I know personally that this is -4. Now, you aren't going to know that the first time for any of the levels, so you're going to have to kind of eyeball it. You're going to have to keep an eye on the values of when you're going up, when you're going down, and look at the ones that look the most like they're probably your height. It's a little bit of a guessing game in terms of that, but you know it's probably not -2041, because we aren't -2041 under the map, essentially. Most of the values in this game are relatively, I suppose, reasonable. You aren't going to be thousands and thousands of units away from the map. So at this point, we're going to say this value is bigger than, say, it's bigger than -7, because -4 is bigger than -7. So we're going to do that. So now we're down to 777 results. Now, I know it is also smaller than -2, because -4 is smaller than -2. So now we're down to about 260 addresses here. And then let's just see if we can wind this down a little bit more. So we're just going to say increased value, and stayed the same. So now what we can do is kind of one of the final steps in terms of actually the addresses here. We can say take all these addresses. So we got 260 of them, which is a lot still, but we're going to copy these down to our actual address list. So you highlight them all, press the little arrow, here they are. So I got about 260 here. So we know this spot down here, as of this level, is -4. So what we'll do is we'll just move around here. We're going to stay relatively at -4 here because the ground is flat. So now we're going to go back here and look at the values that we brought over and see if anything's really kind of changed. It doesn't look like too much, but we can see some -2s here, some -3s. Now, not everything's going to be the same value. You're just kind of trying to ballpark this. -4 and -5 is kind of where you want to be around, at least for this level. And when you're looking for levels, you really don't want to be too picky in terms of your values, because they aren't all going to be the same. They're going to be different values. So you just kind of want to get the closest values to what you're looking at. So now that we've got this is kind of the moment of truth. This part can easily mess up just based on kind of your luck and the filtering and all that. Sometimes you'll get weird results where the actual player model will detach from your actual physical model. So Hitman will go away from Hitman, essentially. The game can crash. That's a very likely scenario, as the game crashes just because you're messing with values that maybe aren't quite right. But let's try this out. So right now, we're going to select all these values. We're going to right click, or you can press enter and change the value. And let's try 200. There you go. So now we are at 200 height and we are falling. So that kicked us up all the way in the air to 200 units in the sky. So what you can do from here is basically go wherever you want. Some levels are kind of picky in terms of that. But you can normally go and set whatever values you want. And you may run into issues where you may crash and things like that if, again, you get those wrong values. But in most cases, if you get it under control like it is here, you're going to be fine. You can pretty much go wherever you want. So, as you can see, we're flying around. Here's pretty much all Miami. And this is how you get out of bounds. You can move in midair, so that helps you a lot. Basically, you can just go up as far as you want and then just start running towards wherever you want to go. So in this case, let's go over to this parking garage and land on top of here, and we will be out of bounds. And this is the same practice that you're going to follow for every level. It's just going to be a process of finding the values, going where you want to go, and trying not to crash the game. So now we're out of bounds. We're up here. Could never get here by normal means. And let's take this one step further. So let's go to change this region. Let's say 5,000. Okay, so now we're way up here. And so basically what you can do is you can just start running. Another thing you can do is you can freeze all these values with the check marks on the left of there. I don't really recommend it because a lot of the times if you don't have the right values, even if you're pretty safe in terms of flying around like this, if there is a rogue value in there that you've been changing that hasn't really affected you in the long run, but if you freeze it, you have a much likely chance of crashing the game. So this is actually probably a little too high. Let's change this back to like 2000. You'll encounter obviously a lot of artifacts and glitches and things here since you're not where you're supposed to be, but for instance, in one of my videos, I got to one of these hotels here, and I was using that as a sniper spot. So let's go and see if we can get over this direction. Alright, so here we are. So I think this is one of the spots I was in. So we're out of bounds, we're here, we have a briefcase, we can take this out, we can take our sniper rifle, we can go and snipe whoever we want. No, he's not out there. But regardless, here you are. So this is where kind of Angel comes into play. So if you open a second copy of Cheat Engine, there is a tool, a cheat table that someone released on the Hitman Reddit called the Ansel Unlocker. So if you have an Ansel, you can get the Ansel Unlock cheat engine table. So what that does is you unlock Ansel here, and you can go into Ansel, and you are free essentially to move as far as you want from Agent 47 here. You aren't bounded by anything. So you say, okay, what's the use of this? Well, when you're going out of bounds, obviously a lot of stuff you're not supposed to be there. So if you're trying to find places that you can go or places you can land, and you're trying to do that just by going and falling, well, you're going to go through a lot of stuff. And Ansel helps you with that by being able to tell you what is solid. And it's pretty reliable. The only thing that conflicts is water. Agent 47 can go through water, the camera can't. But as you can see here, all of this stuff, like the roads, you are going through with the camera. There are stuff like the sidewalks here, which now are solid. And so you can use that for things like the hotels here, which are solid. You can use this for going other places, like for instance, I always try to check the freeways, which are solid here as well. But there are certainly a lot of stuff that are not solid. And if you just fall through those, then you just got to go and change your values and all that again. So as you can see, these buildings here aren't solid. A lot of these places are solid out here in Miami, which makes it good. But in other maps, you will definitely run across stuff that is not solid, and you'll just clip through it, and therefore you can't land on it, and therefore you're not going to really get anything fun out of it. So that's where Ansel comes into play. You can use that to just fly around and check, hey, can I go here? And if not, you can just keep flying around and just see what's what. So that's that. And that's pretty much the gist of it. It's a lot of just kind of tweaking and testing the numbers and trying to find the values for the height. You can, of course, find things like your other XYZ coordinates, so being able to, say, teleport diagonally or horizontally or vertically or any direction, essentially, so that you don't have to really walk there. But that's another subject, but it would follow the same kind of things where you'd have to find the positive and negative of the axis. So y positive or y negative in terms of northwest, southeast kind of thing. Vertical is much easier just because obviously up is up, down is down, positive versus negative. It's a lot easier to manage. So and you can go a lot further than this as well. You can find actual point tables, they're called, for this, so that every time you don't have to find those values. That's more, again, advanced stuff. But for this, you can do this pretty quickly. And once you get the hang of it, you kind of get the nature of what you're looking for. And it's not too bad. So with that, that's how you get out of bounds in Hitman. And I hope that everyone enjoyed this video. Sorry if it sucks, but that's what you get for learning. Alright? Adios.